I'm sitting here with Jason, the COO of OKCoin. How are you doing today at the Future of Crypto event sponsored by Benzinga?
I'm doing great, thank you. Thanks for having me here.
I think a lot of people listening to this are going to get an extreme amount of insight to what's currently happening in crypto, because obviously you have a pretty high up position in the world of crypto. I want to start off with, right now, especially with the contagion of FTX and all of that, there's a lot of high level things of like, was it theft, was it fraud? And I don't think either of us are lawyers, so let's not get into there. But to your understanding, for people who want a little bit of a deeper dive into like how this played out, especially FTX and exchange, OKCoin and exchange, I feel like you have special insight for that. To your understanding, how would you explain the situation?
Yeah, I mean, again, I know just as much as you do reading what's been out in public. Everything's sort of still being investigated. But to my knowledge, it seems like they basically didn't do the core function of what they should do, which is protect your customers' assets.
Yes.
And as an exchange, we obviously take customer deposits, and then we make it available for use on the platform for trading, for earning, for withdrawals and deposits. But that first part, taking the depositors' assets and keeping it safe and secure, they seem to have failed at that part. And from what I've read, there were some really serious, systematic, both on a technical level, but also from a governance and governance, sort of human governance level, failures that just allowed some of the, I don't know who specifically, to move money move customer funds off the exchange to their sister company, a trading company called Alameda. They also had the lack of controls where there would be checks and balances on those types of movements in the first place. And I think, having been at OKCoin and run this for almost 7 years now, checks and controls, systems, processes, these are paramount to protecting your customer funds, right? We don't want bad actors inside our company, as well as outside our company, to be able to get a hold of customer assets. And so that fundamentally is the failure there.
You hit on a very interesting point. To my understanding of so many forms of markets, one of the most important things is risk management. Like, you have entire departments to do it, and I wish it were a joke, but that almost seems to be literally non-existent at the Frankenstein combination between FTX and Alameda. Like, just all the risks are like, we don't even have that, among many other things, which it's kind of, I guess, scary that it got to that point. And just so everyone knows, obviously, we're on the same page as everyone. We are getting the information that I guess is publicly available. And I would love to ask you this question about exchanges, because right here, I was listening to a Twitter space call that Sam Bankman-Fried was on, and someone brought up the terms of service. And it said, hey man, right here, you said you weren't taking client funds. And then he was like, yeah, but also if you look at the other part of terms of service, it said I kind of could. And do you have any particular insights on that? Because like that thing is like, we're signing a terms of service, but if you have things contradicting, like where does that leave us?
Yeah, I mean, terms of service is obviously super important. Those are the agreements that you as a business and the customer are entering legally into. And I'll let the lawyer speak to what happens if you break those. I think there are certainly some repercussions for that. But as opposed to, in terms of risk management, you brought up, number one, exchanges should not be running a trading desk on the side. I don't know of anyone, we don't do that. I don't know why that's, I think this was back in 1920s when Glass-Steagall came into act. It was like, hey, look, banks should not be speculating on your clients. And we figured this out many years ago. And to be clear, what happened here at FTX is not a failure of crypto. I think we need to be very, very clear. Nothing went wrong with crypto. Crypto, the assets themselves, the networks, the protocols, everything worked just as fine. They were oblivious to the FTX mess. And so again, this is a failure of corporate governance, of company sort of procedures and systems, checks and balances. None of that existed. And if you don't even follow your own legally binding terms of service, I don't know what else, you're clearly doing other things wrong.
Now, I think you're a perfect person to answer this question, because I was listening to a discussion between, I think, Brian Armstrong and Chamath Palihapitiya, and it seemed like Brian was of the camp of, for years now, people within the industry, such as you and your vantage point of it, it seemed like he was always kind of scratching his head of how is FTX pulling off so many things? Because you guys know your own books, you know what's going on, you know the health of your own business, and it seemed like he was confused knowing all of Coinbase's numbers of like were they pulling off XYZ? Is that a common sentiment that was held by like a bunch of people in the know in crypto? Were a lot of you scratching your head over the past couple of years saying, where is FTX coming up with this money? Or is that a thought held just by Coinbase, Brian Armstrong?
Yeah, I don't know what Brian Armstrong said specifically, but certainly, we've been in the space for almost 10 years now, 10 years next year. And so we've seen competitors come and go. And when people come up very quickly and then really get to that size, that FTX, certainly there are questions, right? Like, how did they do things? Is there something that they're doing that we're not doing? Answer clearly, yes. And so questions are asked. But, we don't get an inside look at what, in hindsight now we do. But, it's hard to meaningfully do much beyond just be like, hey, look, is there something we can learn from or not, right? And so we treat, we obviously look at all of our competitors and see what they're doing. And just try to, again, we only have public information to work off of.
Definitely. To wrap this all up, obviously, we're speaking at a point right now where we're clearly in a crypto winter. Like 2021 was amazing. Now we're kind of a year removed from the all-time highs. What is your opinion? I'm not talking this week, this month, or even next year. Where are you at mentally? Not even speaking for the business of you, a lover of the crypto world. Where are you still on your long-term viewpoint? Like, how do you, mentally get over the downfall we're at right now, but what keeps you going for 10, 20 years out?
For me, at least, I like to take a step back. I've been involved in the crypto space for almost 10 years now.
Gotcha.
And I like to take a step back and just look, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, where were we? And if you look today where we are, we have tremendous adoption of crypto, even if it's not quite on the business side yet, but the mental adoption is there, right? Like you have governments, you have whole countries looking to adopt crypto, you have new industries sprouting from the basis of the technology and opportunities that crypto enables. And it's hard to see exactly how that plays out, but if you look at the trajectory of that, more people want to learn about crypto, more people want to access crypto. More and more developers are building on crypto. How can you not be excited about that, regardless of how the price action is, right? And we've seen bear markets and bull markets come and go, but at the end of the day, the trajectory of what's being built on crypto and the adoption of that is just constantly going up.
It's so interesting you brought that up. So many people I've spoken with today, that's what they're focusing on. They're focusing on the builders. They're focusing on the quality of the builders, the amount of builders, and the trajectory of them. And that seems to be a lot of confidence in the industry, not necessarily the current spot price of Bitcoin. Look at the industry, look what we're building, look at the technology, and extrapolate that forward. So I appreciate your thoughts. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.